Alliance-3 for the Operation Chimera is one of the few artillery-focused missions within Operation Chimera. There's plenty of missions that you can do with arty, but this one is very arty-focused because it requires you to stun 10 vehicles with the artillery-specific mechanic. And if you want to get the secondary down, you need to do 6 shots of damage. So a couple points of clarification on the requirements. You don't need to stun 10 different vehicles, you just need to stun enemies 10 times. So you can pick on the same vehicle if you wanted to and stun them 10 times and ruin their day. Or you can just swing around the map as I do with this mission and stun whoever happens to be lit. On the damage side, don't feel like you need to actually hit the tank. I know the description of it says 10 penetrating shots. But if you hit the ground and you do 1 HP of damage with the splash, that counts as a penetrating shot in terms of the mission. So just play arty like you normally play arty. Pick on the tanks that are lit, and you'll be fine getting this done. It's actually pretty easy. So I've chosen the M5355 for this mission. It is one of the few arty that I have. I don't play arty a lot. And it's probably my best artillery crew in terms of skills on the crew, and I feel comfortable with this artillery in terms of its rate of fire and its accuracy. Also, I highly recommend you do this with higher tier artillery, just because the splash radius is so much bigger as you go up in tier. I did make a modification to the artillery for this mission, though. The top gun, which I do have on the 5355, is the 8-inch howitzer. I actually installed the stock gun on the 5355, which is a 155 millimeter gun, because it has a 25% faster rate of fire. And because I'm not worried about the amount of damage that I'm doing, and I'm more worried about the fact that I am doing any damage, but more importantly that I'm getting 10 stuns in a match, I just wanted to make sure I would do this fairly easily. And so I reduced the size of the gun, but it gave me 25% faster rate of fire. So that was one thing that I would highly recommend you take a look at on your artillery. It's got to just make this easier to do. If you try it once without modifying your artillery, maybe just downgrade the gun, get the faster rate of fire, and knock this mission out. The reality is, if you're getting 10 stuns, you're probably getting 6 damaging shots anyways, so I wouldn't worry too much about whether the downgrade is going to impact your ability to do damage. The other thing that is nice about the 5355 in this scenario is the wide arc that I have available to me. I don't need to rotate my tank a lot, which means that I'm not, fully blooming the reticle. Most of the shots that I'm taking are at tanks that are within my arc, which makes aim time that much easier. And on this map in particular, although this is playing out a little different than most Redshire maps, you don't see too many tanks aggressively push down the riverside. This is sort of a safe map, if you will, in terms of getting this mission done, because arty doesn't get rushed a lot early on. You also saw there, I saw 2 tanks lit close to each other. Didn't even attempt to hit one of the tanks. I just put a shell right in between the two. If you hit them both, like I just did there, counts as 2 stuns. So focus on tanks that are lit. You ideally don't want to fire at tanks that have gone dark, even if you know they're sitting there. It's just easier to track the mission if you're focusing on tanks that are truly lit. Because if you get 9 of 10 and you're like, I think I got a splash on something that went dark, you're just not sure, or maybe you missed the mission. Like, I'm gonna fire on this tank here, he's gonna go dark, but I really don't know if I splashed him or not. I think he actually did okay. That was a wide shot. So focus on tanks that are lit. But this is a pretty easy mission to do anyways. If it takes you 2 or 3 attempts, I'd be surprised, particularly if you have a tier 8 or tier 9 arty. So I think this is the shot right here that that completes this mission for me. This one's a pretty easy one to do, which is why it was one of the first Alliance missions that I did. And you don't even need to win to get the secondary, so you don't need to worry about anything like that. So that is Alliance-3 for Operation Chimera. Pretty straightforward arty mission. Just a couple of tips in summary. Swap the guns if needed. You know, it costs you maybe 100k in credits to buy back the old gun, depending on the tier of the tank. But the increased rate of fire definitely helps. So if you have lower tier guns that fire faster, throw them on there. Focus on the things that are lit. Don't blind fire at stuff, because you never know if you're going to stun them, and it's makes it really hard to track the mission, particularly if you're right on the bubble there. And higher tier arties are ideal. They tend to have wider splash ranges, and because of the damage that they're putting out, you're almost guaranteed to do even a minimal amount of damage with a splash to get that secondary done. So pick higher tier arty if you can, and you'll get this done in 1 or 2 tries. It's not really that difficult if you have any reasonable arty crew. All right, good luck, guys.